Mm. Is anybody here other than me?
Hello, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Oh,
Hi,
I hear voices,
We're all
not the
here.
ones that normally are talking to me, but so that's a good thing.
I'm here, Mike.
So we're recording already. That's great. Cool. Well, today, a lot of fun. I built this as a double header, which was I'm going to talk about some relatively new integrations that have been made into kvCORE. Plus, I'm going to give you some examples on how to, easily create some marketing materials. The goal of all this is to get some real estate business. And there's a handout which doesn't probably look like much. It looks like this. And it begins with an article from Inside Real Estate about what's called their smart assistant. And then I'm going to talk about that first. And then we're going to go through a specific marketing thing that you could do to get listings. Who wants a listing? Everyone raise their hand. I want a listing. And so we're going to go through some examples of how to do that. And if you've got kvCORE and you're logged into kvCORE, you could follow along. If you're not, this is being recorded a couple different ways. And so you're going to have a chance to go back to it. It also requires that you have either for some of the things, ChatGPT. Well, how about this? We'll get to that later. When we get beyond the smart assistant, then we'll talk about using artificial intelligence to increase the effectiveness of your kvCORE system, and we're actually going to create a landing page. Doesn't that sound exciting? Doesn't that sound exciting? So the smart assistant has been integrated into kvCORE, and smart assistant means ChatGPT, which is an LLM for a large language model. And so what I'm going to do is I'll give you several examples. And the document that I showed you has a lot of them already, but let's say I'm looking for this guy. There's a lot of Devlins, I know, including a lot of Devlins. We'll pick on this one. All right. So let's say I've put in a contact into kvCORE, and I've pulled up the contact record like we're looking at right now. And I want to, well, why don't we just start at the top? I want to make a call, right? I know I need to call them, so I click on this. And what this is doing, and this requires a little bit of setup, which, what I'm doing is I can make the phone call right out of kvCORE. And the value of that is that it will register that I made the call. It will put it in their, system so I can know when I pull up the contact. But if I just want to call them, right, and I'm going to use my phone, why am I looking at this? I don't really want to use kvCORE. I just want to use this. Well, let's say I need a script, right? I don't really know what to say. So I'm going to click on Use Smart Assistant. Now, you'll notice it's already giving me several things that I could, I could just select. But let's say this is, I want a script. I need to be able to spell it for someone I know, but I haven't talked to in a long time, right? I just want a script that let me do something like that. Keep it short. The more you communicate what you want, the more likely you are to get it. When I click on generate, what it's doing is it's creating a script for me. All right, and if I don't like it because it says something, they don't drink coffee and you don't want to put down tea, well, you can tell it, you can keep talking to it. Hey there, Joe, it's been a while since we last spoke. I've been reminiscing about the conversations we used to have, right? If you don't like it, you may need to change it. I hope all is well with you. You could remove that part if you don't like it. I wanted to reach out and see how you've been doing. If you have a moment, I'd love to catch up and hear what's happening in your life. This is based on the premise that if we let them talk, eventually they're going to ask us to talk. Here are some things I've been up to lately. I'm now a real estate agent, helping people find their dream homes, guiding them through the process. If you want it to be less salesy, keep it short. How about this? Not salesy, all right? And so I'm going to click on generate. It's going to rewrite it. All right, notice it takes a little bit out of that. It changes it a little bit. So we can keep modifying this until it produces something that we're happy with. So one of the things that this system will do is that if you really don't know what to say to somebody, and by the way, this could work if I want let's say a call and I want a, FSBO. see, that stands of course for sale by owner. And it's written me a for sale by owner script. Now, it has a tendency to, talk a lot. You're probably thinking, yeah, what about you? But anyhow, ChatGPT oftentimes produces, let's say, comprehensive material. But this isn't bad. It's got questions to ask. It's got things you could say. If you're looking for what am I going to say, click on make a call. Well, what about an email? Right? Well, I want to send somebody an email and I click on use smart assistants and then, well, here's all these different choices. Now, if I pick promote a listing and it's a listing that I or EXP has, or I have written permission from the broker to promote, if I'm promoting a listing and it's in kvCORE, what this will do is it will actually, and I have to put in more information, but like the MLS number or the address of the property or something. And then what kvCORE is going to do, here, why don't we do this? Right, do I want to say it? I'm sure. All right, let's just see what I mean. So I go over here and I go to listings and I go to company listings. And I'm going to pick a nice little, how about this one? This looks like a nice little listing, right? And I want to brag about it to my people. It's in Santa Cruz. I'm just going to copy this. Now I'm going to go back to my CRM. I'm going to find, and this, by the way, could be a bulk email. Like, let's say at this point, I want to send this listing to everybody, right? Now, if I keep scrolling down at the bottom, it gives me the option to, I have a lot of contacts. Like, so I have 200 pages of this, right? So I have a lot of contacts. If I pick on 250 rows and then I select all, it's going to want to send the email to everybody, right? Not against it. So if I have a database of people and I click on this, I'm not going to really do this, but I go here to bulk email. Now, so this could be used on a specific contact to write an email, but let's say I'm going to do, and anyhow, it doesn't really like it. So I'm going to say, use smart assistant, promote a listing, and I'm going to hit generate. And it's writing me an email about the listing. It's got a chef's kitchen in addition to the, now these things here are merge tags that come from kvCORE. So this has to be in kvCORE, right? You have to be able to find it like you just saw me find it. Because this information, these are all merge tags, are brought in from the kvCORE system. And then I hit send, it would send everybody that particular, it would send everybody the email. How about this? You want to get fancy a little bit, all right? Taking it to a different level. Let's say that all of these people are, and I can filter, so I could have everybody in Santa Clara County in one filter. I could say everybody in Los Angeles County. So wherever you are, you can identify your contacts by a geographic area. Let's say I'm assuming all these people, and my database, by the way, is full of real estate agents, not buyers. So if you're looking about writing down people's names, they're all agents. But let's say I wanted to send all, these are my sphere of influence in Santa Clara County, and I want to send them a market update. So I'm going to click on email. There's a problem. And the problem is that ChatGPT only knows by itself what's happened up through 2021. Now, if I say I want a market update for Santa Clara County, and I ask it to generate it, in 2021, interest rates were a lot lower, weren't they? in 2021. They're not low now, right? So that's not going to really help me. It doesn't have recent, up-to-date information about Santa Clara County. So who would possibly have that information? Well, if I go to Santa Clara County Real Estate Market Update, I just click on it. Who is doing this? Bay Area Market Reports, Redfin. Our friends at Redfin seem to know something about what's going on. So I go to Redfin, I copy this, I go back here, I say, I want to send an email, and I'm going to say, use the Smart Assistant, market update based on the following information. And I put in a colon. You don't probably have to do that. This is a relatively smart program, and it's writing me a market update, right? Now, this is going back to November of, all right, that's better. There's another website I like called Altos Research. Let's see if it's going to let me log in. I'm going to go to products, and I'm going to go to market reports, and I'm going to say run a report. And it's using Gilroy because it knows that I'm geographically close. It won't do counties, but it'll do cities. If I say San Jose and I hit go, it's going to give me some choices. It doesn't really matter. I just pick the first one. See, this is giving, see this thing over here? So I go here, I copy that. I go back here, I close this. I say, yeah, I'm sure. And I want to make a new email, and I want Smart Assistant to write it for me. Market update based on, and I paste it in, and it's writing me a market update. Based on that. Now you might be thinking, you're stealing from people. Well, what I'm really doing is taking their facts. Right, you understand, where did Redfin and Altus Research get their facts from? They got it from the multiple listing service. And I've done this before. You could actually run stuff in the multiple listing service, paste it in here, and it would write you a nice email. Now, let's take it up another notch. What I have is, I may be overdoing it. I'm open to that possibility. But I have ChatGPT, which I'm going to demonstrate how to use it. I'm going to use 3.5, even though I have paid versions, because that one is free. I also have Bard, which is Google's program, which is free. And I have, and this is a special one, I have Microsoft Copilot, which, by the way, not only is it free, but I have it on my phone. It's a phone app. I have ChatGPT, Bard, and Copilot on the phone. Now, what Copilot does that's a little bit different. If I say, give me, I want a real estate market update for Santa Clara County, current. And I hit
Mike, we're not seeing your screen. We're just seeing the, oh, there it is.
Does everybody agree? My computer is saying that it's showing the screen.
It's
Yeah, I
showing.
see it now.
All right. Did you have your hand over your eyes? Just being. So
No,
look at
it
what
was down
Bart,
below. It was down
what
below.
is-
I couldn't see it.
Yeah, look at what Copilot is doing. Copilot is giving me a lot more information. And I don't necessarily include this paragraph, but I would take that paragraph because it's telling me where it got its information from. And this, by the way, is more up to date because SEC report, this is called RE report. They've been around, they're using MLS data, Redfin. It's done research for me, current research. For example, if I look at SCC report, just to see what the research is, this is a December 2023. Yeah, I know, there's somebody else's picture there, but I'm not going to give them that. I'm going to just copy this. Right, and I don't really need, I would get rid of the little, just the facts, right? And I would copy and I would paste that into the kvCORE email, and it would write me a market report that I could send to people. Was that worth?
Michael, this is amazing. You always come up with great information for us. I was just wondering if is there such a thing like creating a template with like columns and that kind of thing, or am I asking too much?
Yeah, ChatGPT can create tables, but not a lot of formatting.
So you will copy and paste it in this email and send it.
I would,
as a
so
paragraph.
let me see, did I copy this?
So did you, maybe if you said, put it in a tabular format, ChatGPT would know to do it.
It'll do tables, but it won't do much else. Right. And you can play with this, you can keep asking it. Sometimes if you use, say it didn't make a table.
No.
But and partly it's limited. So if we go to ChatGPT, I have to zoom out of the way. We go to the horse's, let's just say mouth. Monica, was that your hand raised?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna lower it. Thank you.
All right. I'm just saying I don't pay attention to my surroundings. All right. Is that better?
Oh my God, this is.
See, so the original program will, do more, right? Now, it didn't have all this information, so it didn't, but if it had more specific information, it'd make a table. It only makes tables, really. It can also do HTML code, but it also does look at a nice little summary, right? But you can always do better if you spend more time. Right, and you can take this and you can go to Canva or some other program and make it look really nice and fancy. But if you're sending an email to people about what's going on in the market, this is a reasonable thing to do. Now, we're going to go back to ChatGPT in a bit. Let's look at another example. I'm going to text them. Ooh, it works for text messages too. I could, again, promote a listing. I could do all this, and you want it to be short, right? If you go over like 250 characters, I mean, the longer the text message is, the less likely anyone's going to read it, and the more likely it's going to be viewed as spam, right? But if I just want send a welcome text message, and I create it, and again, it wrote, welcome to our real estate agency. We're excited to help you find your dream home. Welcome, that sort of thing. It needs a little formatting issue there, but and it's going to merge in that information, your office and your phone number, whatever you put into the system, but you could manually change it there. So it will write text messages, emails, phone scripts. Well, I can send videos. Did you know that through the kvCORE system, I can't send out bulk videos. I actually use other software, as some of you know that have gotten it from me. come on, I don't know why it's doing that. It's hung up. But in the videos, I don't know why it did that. It again would allow me to ask it for a video script. But I don't use kvCORE to send videos. If you don't upgrade to what's called bomb full, it's hard. I think you can only send it to one person at a time. I have other ways of embedding videos. That would be another session. But let's talk about ChatGPT, kvCORE, getting some business. And we're actually going to go through something that will, I'll show you. So in the document that I shared with you, I have this little line here, and I'm going to copy this. Now, what we're doing is, if we want to get a listing, it would be good to talk to people at the beginning of the process. What kinds of things would people be thinking about at the beginning of the process of selling their home? And one of them is, what do I need to do to get my home ready for sale? So if I offered them maybe a checklist or a guide or something like that, then maybe they would click on it because they would like to see it and I could share it with them, but I don't have one, right? So I've written a prompt and I go back to ChatGPT and I've written a prompt, and the prompt says, create a 30-point checklist that a homeowner could use preparing their home for sale. Now, this part, I guess I should explain, right? I should explain this. This is something, how many of you use ChatGPT, know and understand ChatGPT? This is a virtual hand raise. Anyone want to admit to that?
I do.
Monica does, and somebody else said I do. Okay. So then for those of you, you probably already know this, but one of the most time-saving things you can do in ChatGPT is to scroll down over here to where it has your name and you click on it. I'm sure you've all gone here. And it has a plan. I actually have a paid plan, but this I don't think is necessary. Custom instruction. So what I've done in custom instructions is I've told ChatGPT what I do and what my emphasis is on. For those of you that haven't figured this out, my emphasis is on recruiting agents and helping agents sell real estate. Right? I train and I coach and I recruit. That's what I do. I've told it that, oops, what happened? I clicked on it. I wanted to modify it because I always want to modify it. But it says, I want it to be casual. I want and have specifics, not generalizations. You can have opinions, ChatGPT. However, I am coming from the perspective of someone who recruits real estate agents. I've given it all of my social media links. I've told it my contact information. I've told it what my calendar link is. And I have a plugin that makes videos. My branding, I have a female narrator with an English accent. And so what that means, because I've done that, is that every time I ask ChatGPT to do something, it already is incorporating that information into the prompt. Now, if I want this, I want to change that default setting to something else, I just have to tell it. And it will, right? But so here are 30 things. Now, it's always good to look at this. If you don't like something, you can, like for example, this is a recruiting one. I'm going to say, write it from the perspective of a real estate agent offering this checklist to a potential home seller. Right? And it'll do it again. It'll do it again. So if you already tell ChatGPT, I'm a real estate agent. And it's still got this thing, 26 is not useful, replace. And it will change it, right? Make one complete list. Okay. So you want to look at it, because if it has something you don't like, you might want to change it. So yes, sometimes I spend a little bit of time asking it. And one of the things I thought was nice is that it's the first one is consult with me, which wouldn't be a bad one to put in. I want 30. And then it's, so anyhow, does everybody see what we're going to end up with? And I'm so lazy, I wanted to do it all together at one time. All right. There we go. All right. Now that I've done this, and by the way, notice it put it into an email format. Why not? It also has, these are all my real links, right? And so if I want this, I would just say, copy this. All right, go up here, comprehensive home selling checklist, copy that. All right. Now I have myself a checklist. If I go to Google, and what you would do is you would create a, a Google document. You should put in your name. You should put in your broker. You should put in your DRE number. If I had more times, I would put logos and things like that, but I was behind today. I paste this in, and it seems, so I'm going to, and then I just do a little bit of formatting, right? Now this is, that title is really big. So I might do number 3. I might say, all right, number 2 is a little bit bigger. I could make it bold, color. You could spend some time on it. And then here's the list, right? And then I'd look at it and make sure everything is fine. If I wanted to, I could make it a little bit, the fonts and everything could be, see, this is pretty big. If I just said, I want it to be all 11, let's say, so once I'm done and I'm happy with it, I would go to File, and I would go to Download, and I would say, download this as a PDF. And where I'm going to put it is in my Google Drive. And I'm going to say, this is the 30-point home seller checklist. Right, that's what it's called. I click on Save. There it is. All right, I'll get to it in a second. So other things that I've said is, I don't know why it didn't do a good job with all of that. Let's say I'm old school and I'm farming and I'm using postcards. So continuing the same conversation, because we don't want to lose what we've already talked to ChatGPT about. I paste in that and I create, so this is now giving me some suggestions. And I would be putting in the actual website, whatever it is. It doesn't for printing. See what it does. So it's actually now giving me code that I could copy. Well, but anyhow, you'd put in your website. So it's giving me things that I could put on a postcard if I wanted to put it on a postcard. All right, well, that's okay. What else did I do? Oh, maybe I want to make a video. And I want the video to be about my beautiful 30-point home seller checklist. I put that in and it gives me a video script, right? And which I could follow. If I say write a blog post, it's going to give me a blog post that I could use based upon my checklist. See where I'm going with this. Now, because I have no social life and I just do this stuff a lot, I have plugins where I actually could create the video right out of ChatGPT. And there's a bunch of programs. There's InVideo, Visuala, there's CapCut, but you can make your own video, but you can make a video. But if that scares you, then don't do it. We've got a postcard, but what about something else? I want something special. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to kvCORE. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find that PDF that I just uploaded. Here it is. Now, what I want to do with this PDF is I want to go to share. And I want to say anybody with the link can have this. And I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to hang on to that, right? In fact, yeah, I'm going to hang on to that. I may have to go back to it. So here I am at kvCORE. We're back again. I'm going to go over here to lead engine, and I'm going to go to build landing page. I talked about this last week. I still don't know how to change the logo, but I haven't really looked. Somebody was asking, just what happens if I pick light theme? Whatever. Whatever you like. Hashtag a suggestion is home seller checklist. The reason we're doing this is that it will allow us later to customize our follow-up campaign, taking into consideration that they downloaded my checklist. The button would be checklist now. And remember that URL. When I went to Google Drive and I pulled this up and I went to share and I copied that link. What I want to do is I want to paste that URL in there. I'm not going to require a phone because this is kind of pushy. I might like it to be a villa because everybody thinks their house is a villa. And I'm going to say this is the seller. And I'm not going to save it yet. See, look at all these things, right? I got this, I got that, I got all these 4 things. That means I have to write something to put in. Boy, that's just terrible. Oh, how about this? If I go to ChatGPT and I say to it, create a headline and a sub-headline. Oh, it did. So I'm going to copy this because I'm really lazy, right? There's no reason. And I'm going to go here. Now, remember, if you double click, it disappears forever and you can't get it back. You have to start over. You highlight this. I paste as plain text. Oh, cool. It looks good. And the sub-headline, here we go. I copy that. I go back. I click here. And if you paste it as plain text, it'll keep the formatting. There we go. But what about these things? Price reduction, fixed or offers. I don't know what to do. I got to come up with something. So what I then do is I say, create 4 bullet points. to further entice homeowners to download the checklist. Short, no more than 10 words. For each of these 4 points, give me one subpoint that elaborates on the 4 key points. I was just, I'm just what I'm doing. So I'm going to paste that in and hit enter. And so what it's going to do is give me a point and a subpoint. So I copy that. I go back here. I click here once, highlight it. I paste as plain text. I go back here. I highlight that. Everybody see what I'm doing? Work, right? And I paste it in and I keep doing it until I have finished it. Paste the plain text, go back here. I don't know, did I put subpoint in the other one? If I did, I need to change it. I mistakenly included the word subpoint, which I don't need to do. So I'm going to just, get rid of that. And almost done. Here's gain expert insights. And again, you could spend more time reading and writing your own, but I got things to do, places to go, people to see. Copy that right here. Paste it in. One more. Get ready with confidence. And we go back here or here, one of them. And all right. And then last. All right. And what I have now is relatively useful. Do I like that? I don't know. And you could spend some time, you could upload your own, you could upload your own, you could make it look like an open house, a home value report. That one doesn't really look as good, but let's just say I'm going to pick a modern exterior. Why not? Right. So I have now created a landing page. Right? I've created a landing page. What I'm going to do once I'm happy, because once you've saved it, there's no going back, right? You have to start all over again. I'm going to go up here to save. And it's giving me a warning that says you better figure out what this is. And so here's the landing page. That URL is kind of long, but if I'm, embedding it in HTML, it's not such a big deal. If I've created a bit.ly account, right? If you created a bit.ly account and you log in, I know it wants me to log in every time. Come on. So bit.ly has free accounts. If you Google search URL shorteners, and we also want a QR code. So we're going to go here, see our choices. We could create a link, which basically shortens it, but we also could create a QR code. And the reason we would do that is, remember the postcard, right? Remember we were talking about a postcard, and we're telling people that if you can get you could use this QR code. Those of you that are doing this now could take your phone and take a picture of it, and it should take you right to where it's supposed to go, right? Which is the landing page, which they then have to fill out in order to get and then we've got them. If we simply want it to be a link and we do this and hit enter, whoops, is already in use for another short link. View the existing link here. All right, so it's already giving me a short link, which I can to some degree modify, right? I can modify it, but you can get a short, this isn't a very short link, but you could get a short link. I usually use it for the QR codes, but we could make it a little bit shorter. We could make it so that it's, a little smoother in terms of the wording, we could actually put in the words checklist or something like that. But the thing with Bitly is that only our ability to edit the link, right? Like this part we can edit. But if I want to say something like home seller guide, I have to be the only one at Bitly who's done that. Let's see what happens. Say it's already, somebody already's taken it, right? Which kind of makes sense. But the QR code you can easily make. Anyhow, what we now have is we have this page, which we could post on social media. We could include it as a link in an email, and we might get seller leads. Why didn't that come through? I don't know. I must have clicked too quickly and it disappeared, but I think you get the point. Did everybody get the point? Yes. How am I doing? Most people didn't show. Any questions? Is anyone still there?
We are speechless.
All right. So you might be, I find that hard to believe, but that's okay. So you might be saying, well, what else could I do? Like what else? Right. And so as an example, a related post, email, etc., is what types of remodels pay off when someone sells their home, and which ones will they probably not recoup. So this is usually based upon remodeling.com home versus value report. It gives us a list of the ones that generally result in an increase in value sufficient perhaps to pay for the cost of the remodel. Here are remodels that generally do not pay off when you sell the property. So your landing page would be find out which remodels pay off when you sell, find out which ones to avoid, free list, report, whatever they sign up, you send it to them. It could be a blog post, it could be a video, you can just keep doing it. Now, if you're thinking, well, those are great ideas, maybe you don't think these are great ideas, well, but let's say you think this is a great idea. Give me ideas for guides and checklists that a potential home seller might want that I can use in real estate marketing. And I do that let's see. Be positive and move on. I am on. If you are new, this is too much into it at once. Well, maybe. So we all start at different levels, right? If you're brand new, you don't even have kvCORE yet. Once you get it, we'll be setting it up in pieces. But every class I do isn't a brand new class. This will be recorded. There will be a time when you want to know this. So notice it's given me some samples that I could use here, right? So how about this? Write complete content for section 1. Section 1 is a home selling timeline guide, and what it's doing is giving me what section 1 would be. And you'll probably have figured out if I say, okay, now do section 2, now do section 3, now do section 4, it would keep spitting them out, right, until I couldn't take it anymore, right, until they're all done. And each one I would modify but it gives me the ability to create unique new content that you can use in marketing to people, integrating it with kvCORE. One other tip. If you, in kvCORE, and again, if you're new, I'm going to be doing a lot more sessions on specific marketing ideas that you could use to generate business, right? I'm going to spend more time on that. And one of the things I recommend is that when you have kvCORE, you go up here, you'll notice, and at some point you have to be curious and just look around at everything, right? You're going to have to be curious, but up here, there is an email, right? Next to quick actions, there's an email. And if you click on this, notice it gives you the choice of connecting your email to Gmail or Microsoft Outlook. Now, the reason that you would do that, and I'm going to click on it, is because if you do that, it will use your Gmail account for sending emails to the people that are in kvCORE. Now, you might be wondering, why would I want them to do that? Right? Why would I want them to do that? And the answer is because if you do that, then it's less likely to be flagged as spam. Because kvCORE is a big system. It's not just EXP that uses it, other people use it. Do you think real estate agents are spamming people? What do you think? Do you think real estate agents have gotten a list from someplace and they're sending people emails that they don't want, and so people are marking it as spam? So your sphere of influence, it might be that it's going to spam a lot. If you do that and change it to your Gmail, if you just do that, then it will, it'll do that. Now, I'm going to undo it because the Google settings, I don't want it to sync calendars. I don't want it to sync contacts, but notice it's syncing all of my email, right? Which I don't really care because I only use this for certain things, but you might want to do that because the value that kvCORE has is that you can send out 5,000 emails. You can send out 500, whereas Google is not going to let you do that. Right, because it's more than what they'll allow. So this allows you to actually sync your contacts. It allows you to sync things in kvCORE. I wouldn't do that immediately. The one thing you might think about is the email, but if you're having issues, let me know. I mean, make an appointment and we can talk. I'm relatively good at using this system. How am I doing on time? Any questions about that?
Mike, when will you post the video so that we can go back and watch this again?
Or you have to send me $5, and tomorrow probably. I think my otter is in it, but so Copilot, Bard, and ChatGPT. Copilot, what's the difference between Microsoft Copilot, which by the way gives you ChatGPT 4, which you normally would have to pay for. And but Microsoft is trying to be relevant. And in a world of Apple and Google, they're having different, it's harder than it used to be relevant. So they currently made Copilot free, and it uses ChatGPT 4, which is a little bit more advanced. And it says, ask me anything. I also have, because I have a Windows computer, if I click on Copilot, what it does is over on the right-hand side, this is going to just sit there. Now I have a really big monitor. So I have a really big monitor. So I oftentimes just let it sit there And when there's a question I need answers to, I would just type it in and ask. It's the difference between Copilot and the ChatGPT basic is that Copilot is searching the internet right now for answers. Whereas this program is looking at answers from the database it already has, which isn't the most recent. I've also installed some extensions. So if I say Santa Clara County Real Estate Market Update, what's going to happen, notice this box here is starting to load. And what it does is that will connect, it'll connect to Bard. If I grant permission, okay, Bard, go ahead. You can do that. And so now Bard is a live ChatGPT. I have 4, I don't use Claude, but look what happens. So now it's thinking, right? And it's using Bard and it's giving me oftentimes not very useful information, but it gives me something that's based upon artificial intelligence. And see, this one is not very useful, but all of these are useful. And notice these are the ones that came up in the response that I got, right? But sometimes I find that I don't need to do a Google search. I just ask Bard or something. I heard a question.
Yeah, I was wondering if at some point we talk about an extension for GPT to be current, to have current information. Do you remember that?
Well,
That will be the Copilot.
No, I think
An
she's
extension.
confusing that with kvCORE and what was coming out of kvCORE for ChatGPT, the assistant. Where
right.
Mike he went directly to ChatGPT and pulled up more current information.
Well, no, so ChatGPT does not have current information.
Right.
Unless you connect it to a search engine. Right, like.
Don't you have a, didn't we talk about a plugin or extension
Yeah.
that you can add to it and it will become more current?
I have a plugin called ChatGPT for Google. And what it does, that's the one I was looking at, where it's supposed to bring up responses based upon that. There's another extension called Merlin. For a while, it was hard for me to talk about, but Merlin is pretty good. I turned them on and then turned them off. But I have a folder one. This searches it. This is a special copy one. This online ChatGPT, and I don't Gmail. None of those work as well as I'd like. ChatGPT for Cloud HQ, right? Cloud HQ is something you've seen. I'm going to turn that one off. This is a sidebar. I might as well show you all of them. This one, I'm going to click on a few of them. Monica, you'll like this one, is already there. And this pops up in different times asking me if I want to know more about something. So now that I've done this, if I go to, and I say, what should a seller do before selling a house? Right? A nice search, and we're going to wait. So I switched, or another one is going to appear here in a moment. Right, realtor.com has a checklist, but where is the other one? They didn't see. Over here is this Monica, which is another program that sort of pops it up. I don't really see it coming up on this one. I may have too many of them. Here, let me do this. I have too many of them, so it doesn't like it. I'm going to close Monica. But anyhow, the extensions that do this there's a ChatGPT for Google by Cloud HQ. I'm going to, this is also Cloud HQ, which is a sidebar. It's sort of like the Copilot, but it's a little bit different. There's, I should be able to, yeah. Let me just, sometimes it wants to start again. So I go to, what should a seller do before selling a house? Let's see if it gives me. Anyhow, it's not loading, and I don't know why. So it's not perfect. It's not, it just didn't load. But usually so there's a bunch of them. They load on the side. Generally, they're not that good. What I've done, and this requires an upgrade. How am I doing on time? And the upgrade is if I go to ChatGPT, I'm paying for ChatGPT 4, but I've also got plugins. For example, the plugins I have right now is this is a plugin that reads outside links. This is a plugin that will read a PDF. And this is a plugin that will search all of the California codes, civil, business and professions code, criminal code. It searches all the codes. You might understand why I would use things like that. To give you an example about this particular one, if I was helping an agent, I don't know where it is, KERN, nah. So I was helping an agent and we were trying to figure out, there was a zoning code that was LHRSMH. That was the zoning code. I've not ever heard of that zoning code, by the way, if you're wondering. I don't know what that is. Usually they're not that long, so I assumed there were a bunch of pieces. So we go to the Kern County their site, and I get a copy of the zoning code, which is a PDF. Now it can't be too long, but it was a PDF. I downloaded it. I uploaded it using this program, and then I told ChatGPT, tell me what this zoning code means. Assume that these are different, a series of different zonings that are somehow, and it read the PDF and gave me an explanation of what the zoning codes were and what they meant and what you could and could not do using the Kern County's zoning guidebook as the way it answered it. So with the link access, I could say something like the Santa Clara County real estate market update, and I find one. This is somebody else's, don't even know who it is. It can't be just too much stuff, but here's Santa Clara County housing market trends, right? So I take this, I take the URL and I say, write me a market update based on the following. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just paste in the link. And it is reading that link. And it's analyzing the words on that website. And it's rewriting them. It's not just copying and pasting. Most of the stuff you could put in a plagiarism checker and it would say, this is not plagiarized, because it writes its own content. And now, and it's telling me where it came from. And, I mean, it's adding stuff I don't really want, but it will read a link. There's several of these programs that will do that. So
In
I
order
believe
to
that
do this, however, you need
you need
GPT
ChatGPT 4, which is $20 a month.
Got it.
But I didn't pay anything for the program that reads the link.
Got it.
Right. And I if I chose here's CapCut, which is a video maker. I have another video maker that I use more often, but I use this to make videos. So at this point, I don't have the video maker plugin activated, but if I did, I could tell it right now, make a video. And it'll write the video script. It'll pick what are called B-rolls, the background images of people moving around and talking. I can edit it. It'll put in a female English accent speaker. I could pick just about anything, right? And by the way, I believe that you could have this, it would do this in Spanish and other languages, because this has got like 100 languages in it. And anyhow, it makes a video, which I can then modify and I can paste on the internet. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see some of them that I've done. And it just takes a few minutes. But this is a paid upgrade. So there are a lot of things. What you should do is just use the free stuff until you get good at it and have a reason, to do more. All right. Zapier is a little more complicated. Zapier will allow you to, make other connections that we really can't do. What would I use for a video edit? I use InVideo to make the videos. There are specific AI programs just for video editing. CapCut is one of them. InVideo, Visuala are some of them. If you were to ask Google or even ask Copilot, what are some AI programs I could use for video editing? There's a bunch of them that would come up. I'm trying to answer all the questions that are in the chat. Is there anything that can automate AI? I want AI to email me a market update every Monday in San Diego. Not yet, but just wait. All right, pretty soon they'll be doing your laundry and all that sort of stuff. Right, just wait. Right now it doesn't. What is the CODE plugin? You mean the plugin that generates HTML code, Brenda? Is that what you're asking? You don't need a plugin for that. ChatGPT out of the box, basic stripped down version knows code. All right, and it will, by the way, if you know the right questions to ask, it'll create a WordPress plugin for you. But you need to know code well enough to know what to tell it to do, but it can write code. A lot of the coders are feeling, pinched because it'll write HTML code pretty fast. It also, by the way, knows Excel. It writes Excel formulas. You get the idea. It knows lots of stuff.
Michael, I have a practical question here. I'm ready to download Bard and Copilot and ChatGPT in my phone. And do they become part of the keyboard?
It's just so some of them on my phone, I have a section. I don't know if it shows up using this, but I have, see, I don't even know if you'll be able to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, that's a folder on my phone, and it has a link to ChatGPT, Bard, Copilot, and also Otter, which is the note-taking app. Because sometimes I need to know what I told somebody before. So rather than doing a search, I'm likely to open up Bard or ChatGPT and just ask it a question. By the way, Bard is up on most television shows. If you're like, who did that? I forgot in season 3 of whatever it is, you'd be amazed. Apparently, it's watched like all the, it'll answer questions about an amazing variety of stuff.
Wow. So you copy and paste it and then you send it as a text. Okay.
Well, I can actually, Bard and most of these programs will allow me to, on the phone version, copy a link to the chat, to the response, which I can share. So I do this sometimes with Raw. If there's something that I want, or other agents where they've asked me a question, I did the search, I just copy and it gives a link which I can then share in a text message or an email with somebody, and they can open up and read the response too. I also can copy, and it'll copy, there's a copy command which you can then paste into a Google Doc. And all of the ones on my phone respond to voice. I even have a free plugin or extension that allows me to talk to ChatGPT and it will talk back. I can hear, and it'll play the response if I wanted to, but rather than me typing all that stuff in like you saw, I can just say, create me a checklist for somebody that's getting their home ready to sell. I wanted to, I can just talk. And when I'm
Does
done,
it work with accents?
right?
Does it work with accents?
Try it. I believe it speaks Spanish. Try it.
Okay.
I mean, as I remember, it has like 100 languages. Can you listen and respond in Spanish? And what does it say? Yes, I can listen and respond in Spanish. If you have any questions or need assistance in Spanish, feel free to ask. Right?
That's amazing.
Right, so try it. Right, and by the way, I've been told it does Chinese really well. I mean, it's got like 100 languages.
Cool.
Right, so you understand people in Germany are using this, right? People in Spain are using this, right? They're not speaking English, and it can reply. If you start in Spanish, it gives you a better translation than if you have it write something in English and then tell it to translate. We were doing this with somebody about Russian, and the guy said, "Oh, the Russian isn't that great," right? But then we said to ChatGPT, write this in the initial prompt. We want this to come out in Russian. And you could even tell it, I like you to write in the style, and you could pick a Russian author. And then when it was told that not to translate, but to write it in Russian to begin with, the guy said, "Oh, that's really, really good. I'm impressed." That was, All right, enough. I'm going to do more of this. What I want to do is to give you some specific things that you can do if you're really having a lot of trouble scheduling an appointment. But if you guys like this, I'm going to keep doing it. If people stop showing up, I'll stop. All right.
Thank you, Inspector Gadget.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Bye.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Take
Bye,
care.
Mike.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. I have a question, quick question, if you don't mind.
I have another appointment that's starting right now.
Oh, I see. Okay,
But yes, normally, but not right now. Afterwards, if you
okay. What about the recording? Can we receive the recording?
sure, it'll be on my YouTube channel in a little while, probably by tomorrow.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Bye.